Hi, Brian. Welcome. Thanks for joining me. Very nice to meet you. To
Hi,
start
Joseph.
things off, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and your carnivore journey? How did it all started for you?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on your show. I very much appreciate it. I'm born and raised in London, England, came to this country in 1982. And my journey started, I was always active as a kid. And as I got older, exercise with weights, cardio, martial arts. And then my diet, which I thought was healthy, I never drank, never smoked my entire life. But, the standard American diet, I did eat a lot of carbs because that's what we were taught at a young age. A lot of cookies, loved gummy bears. But as I got older, I would say about 7 to 10 years ago, I started to develop severe pain in my shoulders. And the doctors, of course, that I trusted were giving me shots, medication, MRIs, told me it was bursitis. And then they said tendinitis, it comes with age, you have to live with it. And then, a friend had mentioned to me, he said, Bri, why don't you look into the lion diet, pretty much carnivore? And I was taught by my dad, always try something. Don't limit yourself because you don't know until you try. Came across Dr. Ken Berry and Dr. Anthony Shafee about just over 2 years ago and started researching. And it was very interesting watching their videos. Tried the carnivore and I've been on it ever since. My pain unbelievably disappeared within 90 days, completely gone. So between the sugar and the seed oils, I've been on this quest. My wife laughs because I said, look, we got to stay healthy, especially as we age. You don't need drugs. It's food. Who knew food is the simple remedy to most illnesses? And I try to preach that to some people and they don't understand it until they try it.
That's awesome. I think it's pretty cool. I mean, healing your shoulder pain, tendinitis through carnivore. I feel like it took some real consistencies, 90 days, and it clearly worked for you. So, I've had tennis elbow before, so I know how annoying that pain can be. So it's great to see you found something that actually helped, you know, get the pain away. Um, in the beginning, I guess before you were a carnivore, did you ever had like a underlying assumption, what might have caused the tendinitis or in the shoulder pain? Was it something else like, besides what your doctor said? Because he said it was just like, it's something that you're going to have to live, through age. But did you have like another assumption before?
I did. I did. My thought was, well, is it the years abuse? And I never lifted heavy in the gym, but as we age, the first thing came to my mind was, Brian, was it the shoulder presses? Was it the time working out all these years? The doctor's correct. Should I stop working out? And I love to stay in shape, but I was 25 pounds heavier. So the first thing I'm thinking is, oh, wow, I've abused my body and this is the price I'm paying. I would have never have dreamt in my days that it was diet. So yeah, I clearly thought it was just years of working out and just body abuse.
I see. Did the pain pretty much like went away like quickly? Because I know it's like 90 days you were healed. Was it something gradual, like the first 2 weeks? The pain, like part of the pain went away, and then it became like increasingly better, and then in 90 days, completely gone. Was it something like that?
Here's the interesting thing, because thinking back, it was about a good 3, 4 months. I didn't really pay attention to it because I've noticed it was like I woke up one morning and it was gone. It was still there. And within like the third to fourth month, especially when I came off of all the seed oils, the pain was completely gone, almost like a magic pill. And I sat there scratching my head thinking, oh, wow. And I started reading more. And Ken Berry says, listen, and watching his videos, God bless him, and, Steak and Butter Gal, watching her, it was all related to the sugar. So, yeah.
Wow. What was your favorite food before carnivore? I know you mentioned gummy bears, right? Did you have like a special dish that you like, or maybe you like to cook, or yeah?
I've always enjoyed meat. I love steak. Lamb was my favorite. But as far as junk food, my go-to, I can't believe I'm going to admit this. My weakness was French fries. And that's the worst food you could eat. I haven't touched French fries, I would say 2 years. I mean, I've tried some maybe a year ago and I spat it out. But yeah, French fries was my go-to. I used to love fries.
Nice. Yeah, me too. It's weird because I don't crave it anymore. I see it. I just feel like, I look at it. It's like, this is trash. How come I was eating this like before? And a lot of times, yeah. Um, so before, I guess, now that you're carnivore, what is your favorite food?
Steak and lamb. I I'll eat chicken once in a while, but I don't digest chicken that well. But mainly steak, mainly steak. And here's the interesting thing, and I've learned a month ago, I discovered something and listening and watching to Michaela Peterson, which she is incredible. Jordan Peterson, pretty much, he's the godfather of this. He started pretty much the channels showing what this journey is about. She cannot digest the aged steak. Well, there was a meat that started to upset my digestion and I couldn't. My father always said, think back what you consumed. Chuck-eyed steak. I cannot eat that no more. It was causing stomach issues. But my favorite go-to meat is ribeyes, New York strip, flat iron steak, just beef. Beef digests well and it leaves me satiated between that and lamb and eggs. I'll eat eggs like 4 days a week.
Very nice. Um, looking back at the start of your journey, were there any mistakes you made? Like, how did you learn from them, or did you ever had a moment of doubt? Especially in the beginning, hey, maybe this whole carnivore thing it's not working. Maybe I should stop, or maybe I'm gonna get a heart disease. Ever felt something like that? Yeah.
I was nervous at first, and the biggest mistake I made, two mistakes. The number one mistake when I first started, the first year actually, I was sluggish. And I just kept eating more protein, but I was feeling really sluggish at work. You have to have fat. Not too much fat, and it can't be liquidy fat because it'd just pass right through you. But my biggest mistake, I would cut the fat off of the meat and say, oh, I don't like the taste. Now I eat all the fat off my plate. My energy increased. I increased my butter, my grass-fed butter. Then the second mistake I was making, because when I was getting foot cramps at night and lightheaded, and I came across a gentleman's channel, I would say 2 to 3 months now, salt. Salt has been demonized in this country or around the world. Most of us are lacking salt. It doesn't raise blood pressure. I've learned that. I actually have a book, Dr. I have it in the car. Dean Nicol Antonio, really, I strongly recommend people buy his book. It's called The Salt Fix. I used to get headaches 3 days a week because who knew my electrolytes were off? You can't just drink water and think, okay, I'm fine. Nope. Now I've upped my salt, my sodium, headaches gone. The weakness, dizziness, when I stand up, foot cramps at night, 100% gone. So not enough fat when I started, that's what I've learned, and not enough sodium. I just learned that the past 2 to 3 months. Two biggest mistakes as a carnivore.
Yeah, absolutely. What was your experience with oxalate dumping? Like, did you have to go through that like in the beginning? I'm sure like everyone's like different, right?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. Here's the funny thing. If I cheat, like if I touch a donut, which I try not to, but I did eat one a month ago, the minute you do that, you feel the oxalates escape. You feel it in your joints, your knuckles. And I told my wife, I can't eat this stuff. So, but the first year you start to feel it go out of your body. And once it totally goes, you feel 100% healthier. You just feel so revived. Like I'm 20 years old again. But yeah, that was something I had to go through.
Very nice. Have you I guess with the carnivore framework, have you done something like unconventional? Like I think some people would say like I do primal with carnivore. Like have you done something different or I guess like out of the norm just within the carnivore framework?
Um, Sometimes I'll eat an apple, I'll go outside, but like you totally, and this is the one funny thing that, it's hard to discuss, but I love Steak and Butter Gal. She discusses this all the time. If you cheat, it's totally not worth it because you pay for it when you go to the restroom. And like she says, she only goes once a week. And when I first started, I thought that was totally bizarre. For me now, it's 2 to 3 times a week. And and it's taboo. Nobody wants to discuss it. But when you wipe, unlike when you're non-carnivore, there's nothing there. Just like a dog just eating meat or a tiger, Dave Mack says, yeah, we humans could learn from these animals. They don't use toilet paper because all they eat is meat. So it's not worth going out of your carnivore lifestyle. This is something that I'll do for the rest of my life.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah. I think you mentioned family. So what is the hardest thing about like being carnivore? Like, for me, for example, are the social gatherings, right? Like family, like holidays, and then also the travel. I'm worried about what I'm going to eat in the future, while I'm traveling or going to a show. And the cravings also in the beginning. What about for you? What's the hardest thing?
I have to say, and I say this with a heavy heart, my wife, she understands it, she respects it, but being from the Caribbean, she won't give up her carbohydrates. Not that she eats a lot of it. She cannot give up her rice and vegetables. And, personally, the one thing, and if Dr. Anthony Shafee said it, and a lot of these carnivore purists, you lose friends. 80 to 90% of humans don't understand it. And it's shocking. The proof is right there. I wish I was, making this up. I wish I could lie and try to sell it, but I'm living proof where my ailments, I had a lump in my breast, all of the problems I didn't discuss with family and friends have gone. My biggest struggle day to day, even at work, they laugh at me. Oh, Brian, what are you going to have today? Let me guess. Ha ha ha, meat. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, keep laughing at me. I am doing great, but you guys live at the doctor's full of medication. So the biggest 100% challenge, Joseph, is you do lose friends. You lose people around you. You have to join another circle because most people, they believe that, they were taught, oh, vegetables, fruits. What do you mean I can't eat that? We're not designed to eat that. So that's the biggest struggle I have. You lose people around you.
Yeah, I absolutely agree on that part. I feel like it's very hard to explain. I guess like specific people, there's some people you can just approach and say, hey, this is the diet, this is the lifestyle. And then some who's just like completely just going to dismiss you. But
yes,
I just feel like we just have to be, not push it. But I think you're doing well, just the way you describe it. With your work, telling you, your coworkers saying just like, hey, what are you going to eat? Right? Meet
I
again.
did get one person, and I'm proud of him up to this day. He went into the hospital about 3.5 months ago. 4 months ago, he went into the hospital, and I reached out to him and I said, so-and-so, I can help you. He goes, right, I can't go through this, please. And he was crying. I said, if you're open to this, because nobody understands it, you got to switch to carnivore. He did a 180 turn, totally stop all the junk he was eating. He said, I have nothing to lose but to try this. He's been on it for 4 months and he thanks me every day. one coworker. Nobody knows this between, I told them, don't share this with anyone because they're going to tend to think they feel it's a cult. It's not a cult. This is the proper human diet. So I was able to, turn him onto it.
That's pretty awesome. I mean, one person can, make absolute change. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I don't think I have gotten one to like change their mind yet, like, inside my circle. But yeah, hearing that is just awesome. So with you being a carnivore now, like, did it uncover something in you that you didn't know before?
I could think more clearer. I retain stuff more. My sleep is 10 times much better, especially since I've upped my salt. You realize, because for most, especially men, the one thing I uncovered, being strong and healthy doesn't mean big and muscle bound like a lot of these guys think. Looking back, I used to be 198 at one point, then I went down to 190. I'm 160 lean right now, and it's the healthiest I've ever been. So the one thing I uncovered was, gee, Brian, you don't have to be big and bulky to be healthy. We misinterpret that as being healthy to, just being big and strong. No. So I uncovered being trimmer, being lean. That's the one thing I've uncovered about myself.
Very nice. Yeah. So now we talked about like, the bad thing about carnivore, like, like you were saying, we feel like we're alone in this journey, but we have to find our way, right? So in your experience now, what is the best thing? Is it like the physical changes, pain go away, or is it something else?
I would say the pain, that has been the number one thing that's definitely changed the benefit of being carnivore. Healthy, hopefully being able to pass your experience to others, and hopefully they could learn from your experience. But I would say 100% the health. That is the biggest. I don't care how much money you could have, $20 million. My father always said to me, health is wealth. So a simple diet change and being healthy from that point on, that's been the biggest benefit, the number one benefit.
Awesome. Yeah. If you had to describe the impact of this lifestyle in your life, what one word would you describe it and why?
Amazing. 2 words, amazing and incredible. And reason why, and it kind of bothers me, and it's a sore subject, because why aren't doctors helping us more? Why aren't they telling us? And I know they were taught a total different, education in school. Come to find out, they only spend 1 to 5 days on nutrition. Doctors, the years they spend, they don't spend any time on nutrition. So I would say this has been an incredible journey. Just sum it up to one word, amazing. To fix 95% of illnesses, including cancer, you name it, diabetes, heart disease, especially from just going on a proper human diet. Nobody could say who's been on this that it's not incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to touch back on your health struggles before you were carnivore, because I know you mentioned several years of pain and you had the shoulder pain, right?
Yes.
What was like the biggest mind shift you had to make, like to stick with the carnivore? Because I know, from many of the carnivore testimonials, people had said like, hey, I'm desperate. I want to see some real change, the pain to go away. Like, like for you, how did it change? How did you stick with the discipline? I feel like everything is very difficult in the beginning because you have to really, stick to that first 2 weeks and then the 30 days. And then for you, 90 days is even longer. So yeah, what was the biggest mind shift you had to make?
Biggest challenge / mind, shift that I had to do, because I suffered several, I would say close at least 10 years of the pain getting worse. As the pain disappeared, I'm the type to where one extreme to the next. I either have an addiction to where like I would eat a pack of gummy bears every day, to go quit something cold turkey. There's no, oh, I'll join the gym and I'll change my way of life. No, I believe, and it works for me. It may not work for everyone. You have to quit something cold turkey. It's like a bad relationship. If you're in an abusive marriage, you don't say, well, I'll get rid of that person one day. No, if it's not improving, you have to walk away and not look back. And I know that sounds extreme, but my main, it was a struggle, but the main factor for me was I cannot go back to the pain I was in. It was so severe, I wouldn't even talk about it. That just kept me on track. Every time I thought about my shoulder, it just, and because I thought I was done, that was the number one motivating factor. Was all I kept thinking was pain, pain, pain. I'm pain free. I cannot go back. I have to stick to this. And it gets easier. The longer you do something, it gets easier. And now it's just, I felt like I've been doing this my whole life.
That's awesome. Yeah. I think also you mentioned your wife is not carnivore, right? And then Caribbean culture, like with a lot of carbohydrates. Like I think I have this same issue with my culture also, because I'm Filipino and Filipinos eat a lot of rice. Do you see it like struggle, like how you can like approach someone like with that same culture, like eats a lot of carbohydrates? Do you think you would struggle like explaining it to someone that these carbohydrates are not good? you know, yeah.
Here's the thing, and I've learned this, because if somebody had told me this 20 years ago when I didn't have pain, I wouldn't have listened. So yes, it is a struggle to try to convince someone to try something new, especially us humans, because we're stubborn. The only way we try something is when we develop an illness. Unfortunately, if a doctor came and told an individual, unless you stop smoking, you're going to die in a month. Unless you stop eating this way, you're not going to make it. My mother, my late mother, she struggled with carbohydrates her whole life. And I used to tell her, Mom, you've got to stop eating this. And she didn't want to hear it. When the doctor told her, ma'am, if you don't stop eating all the carbohydrates, the potatoes and rice, you're not going to make it another year or so. She stopped. So that is a struggle to try to convince someone until they hit a wall where they have no choice, unfortunately. For me, it was pain. That did it for me.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting observation, and I think it's also very consistent with everyone's, observation, because, like you said, everyone who pretty much goes on the carnivore journey, they hit a wall, and then they experience pain, and they become desperate on something, whether it's pain, health struggle, and then they would look for an answer, and that's how we all end up. I think it's a very good observation. Yeah. If you can give like an advice to someone just starting, or someone with health struggles, several years of tendinitis and shoulder pain, what advice would you give them?
Number one advice I would tell someone, no matter what anyone around you tells you, stick to it. Don't give up. Not everyone is strong. I've seen people try it for a week or two and, they give up. Oh, I just can't eat this. It's very simple to just go into the supermarket, go on the outside of the aisle and just buy one thing. I love going grocery shopping now. I grab one thing, but the number one advice I would tell someone, even if it's costly, which meat has gone up, stick to it. Do not give up. Don't let anyone around you discourage you. No matter how, thin, no matter how overweight, what you're going through, stick to it day by day, stay strong, and it will pay off. I mean, nothing great happens overnight.
That's awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Um, just a future outlook question. How do you see carnivore movement in the next 5 to 10 years? Do you see the lifestyle, more people joining in the community, or it will get censored in social media saying it's unhealthy because pharma don't like it? I guess both good and bad. Yeah.
I would say a mixture of both, because you just touched a key subject which is very sensitive to me. Big Pharma, who owns the sugar companies, they're all, together. They will try to silence it, but day by day, I see the movement growing. People are catching on. They are learning that this is the proper way to eat. If, it's way cheaper to buy meat than medication, because not everyone has insurance. So you have some medications that cost $10,000 a month, cancer medication. And like Dr. Anthony Shafee says, cancer is not genetic. It's a metabolic disease. All the things we are consuming triggers it. It does. All the stuff we consume, and it just disrupts the mitochondria. Dr. Eric Berg, he is amazing. He talks about this all the time. But I definitely see slowly but surely the movement is growing. And there is one downside, like my father says, if doctors were to reveal the truth, which I don't see happening, that meat is the cure for most diseases, meat would go up to maybe $100 a pound. So there will be a plus and a negative to it. But I could live with that if that was to happen, because I do want everyone to realize and wake up. Medication is destroying us. It's totally that, and sugar and seed oils is corrupting the human body. So, but I do see the movement growing slowly but surely.
Very nice. Also, I just wanted to touch back on your health struggle with the pain before carnivore. Like, did you try like different approaches before going into the diet? I might have missed that one. Yeah.
I did. I went to the doctor. They gave me shots in each shoulder, and come to find out, I don't recommend anyone taking cortisone shots. Very unhealthy for you. And the one side effect that nobody talks about, and I've researched it, it disrupts the male and women's too, testosterone level, totally shuts it down. But I did shots, medication. The one thing that was costly, they sent me to physical therapy 3 days a week at $60 a pop. Do the math for a month. Yeah, you're talking hundreds of dollars every month. So I tried that approach because you trust the doctor. If the doctor says, well, you need to try this, and the only way to combat it is to go and do physical therapy, which, nope, I stopped that after a month, and then eventually came across, the carnivore diet. So there was a different approach. I tried going the medical way first, did not help.
Wow. Yeah, similar experience for me. 3 times a week for 5 to 6 months. Yeah, the price is just, yep, as you said. Brian, if people want to reach out or follow you, where's the best place to connect?
Oh, they could email me, brianwiggins72@gmail.com. And I'm going to start, I know I've been talking about this, my wife keeps pushing me. I'm going to start a YouTube channel in the near future. And then just reach out to the community and invite guests. So try to spread the carnivore word, because it's very powerful. It's more powerful than people realize. To stop medications and big pharma and all the terrible foods that's out there, we just have to wake up and be open-minded to this. The movement needs to keep going. We need to grow.
That's excellent. Yeah. I'm going to make sure I'll post them all in the description. Brian, thank you so much again for joining me. I really enjoyed hearing your story and your insights.
Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, and learning about your whole journey. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Joseph.